Yeah. So check it out. Yeah. Now, I recently saw a video with Black Fight Fan on the Trail Boxing Talk channel come out and do a video saying that the show is over. There will be no more Trail Boxing Talk in the foreseeable future. And my thing is this. This is my take, right? When 78 Sports TV was doing this thing, getting it in, eventually YouTube started having live videos, probably around 2016 or so. And as a matter of fact, one of my oldest channel that I started in 2006, I was the first person who actually did a super chat donation to his channel. And he probably won't remember it, but he had one of his lives was on probably 2016 or 17. Um, when the chat came up and support for, I think it was like $2 or whatever. He said, I don't even know what that is. It looked like some type of emoji or something. And he didn't know that was a super chat. And then eventually, of course, as time went on, he realized what that was. And ain't no telling how much money they done got since then. But I was the first one. If you go back to one of them 2016, 17 lives, I was the first one who sent the super chat. You'll know my channel on 78 Sports TV, his first super chat. But that channel, I don't know if it'll still come up because that channel no longer exists. It's totally out. But the point is that when he started doing this thing, as a viewer, I noticed that his subscriber count kind of halted when after the live started happening. Like he was growing, growing, and growing. And he just got stagnant at one point with his viewership, with his not viewership, but his lives. Not his lives, but his subscriber count was very low. I mean, wasn't growing at all. It was at a slow pace of it, if at all. And then they started having problems with his lives. So like eventually, more people started super chatting, and he started getting support through super chat. And it seems like the more support he got, the more YouTube was messing with his channel, and he couldn't, really, do his thing on a daily basis like he wanted to do it. So in comes Black Fight Fan. Black Fight Fan is a person I never seen before. But when 78 said, "Hey, go to this Black Fight Fan channel. We're gonna do a show or whatever. I'm gonna be live over there." When this channel wasn't working with his lives, I went over there to Black Fight Fan, subscribed and all that, and I checked the show out every day. And man, when I tell you, they lit that shit up, man. It was on fire. It was rudimentary. It was a startup, but the energy was high. Black Fight Fan in 2017 or 18, probably 2018, I think when it started. His energy was just boom. It gets you zoom. I remember going to work around that time, working for these Peckerwoods and going in there and feeling energized. Listen to him come on and get hype, telling everybody to smash the like button and all that stuff, and all that helped me get on my thing when I was going there clocking in and all that stuff. But they should talk. Use very relatable content. Two brothers. They have street background. They talk from a black American male, descendant of slaves, on the foundational side of the game, if you know what I mean, from that perspective. And it was just a beautiful thing to see these brothers chop it up day in and day out, talking about boxing politics from a black American's perspective. And of course, they definitely throw in the sauce, the everyday trials and tribulations of black people in the country and provide certain solutions and giving you ideas on how to better your situation. That stuff right there is what brings people in, and you hold a special place in their hearts when you talk like that because it comes from a realistic place that's relatable and it's very valuable. And when you have that dynamic, it feels like nothing can really stop this. But as time go on, you have different different things that happen. The world start to change. Monetization come into play, and then the one thing I will say about the platform is that any personal issues that they may have could have had that you can speculate on, they never really brought it to the public. If there ever was a problem or issue, maybe an allude to it or a hint at it, but they never really brought it out. Even people on the side outside of this platform, other parts, people who used to be in that LDBC, um, they had issues, but they never really brought it to the show directly. And I really appreciate that because it does something to your audience that to polarize them to make them say either I'm a rock with them or not. You know, I think back then they were 2018. They really keyed in on that the viewers had a direct way to kind of influence how the show was going. And it seems like later on, the quality of the show started to dip. A lot of things was happening in boxing. A lot of BS fights wasn't getting made. There's a lot of people just saying they give up talking about boxing. A lot of people fell off because the boxing as a sport just started to tank. Even though there was a lot of fights going on, some of the fights that people wanted to see just wasn't happening. They're the biggest fights. Then you got on top of that the element of black people choosing sides from one fighter versus the other, from different people from different regions of the U.S. Who, it's gonna be a lot of infighting when it comes to black people. That's just kind of like how it's gonna go until we figure out a way to solve that issue. But it really seemed like the show when they decided to switch it up and they brought in CC um, into the mix, and I will say that it's very good to hear a black female's perspective on a show like this because of her background. That she can kind of relate to the stuff that they talk about outside of boxing. When it comes to the boxing side, though, I think it kind of hurt the. To be honest with you, it kind of hurt the quality of the show because sometimes it felt kind of cringy that she would try to, in my opinion, respectfully, kind of finagle her way through boxing talk. Like she wasn't as knowledgeable, but she was smart enough to figure out a way to make it sound good. And if you know what I mean, she can make it sound good enough to kind of get by, which shows that she's very intelligent. She know how to kind of put in her own logic on something that she don't necessarily know all the way about, like the level of the person. So you understand the level of the boxing knowledge that 78 had doing this for years, and then Black Fight Fan obviously had a natural understanding of how certain things work in boxing. You had that at that high level, you have to kind of match it, and if you don't match it in any way, it kind of shows. And then on top of that, when you start taking the personal dynamics of the host of the show, and you introduce that glue into the show, it's going to really change it. And that's when I really started seeing the difference. Um, Pandemics happen and all that stuff. The dynamics of the boxing talk um, really changed. They even actually stopped talking about boxing and had Trill talk in the mornings or whatever, which is a very good segue. I think that was a breath of fresh air because a lot of people, uh, the core audience, kind of get where they're coming from because it's a broadens it kind of broadened this perspective of content. At the same time, when it started off as boxing, you're gonna turn a lot of people off of them, especially if they're not political or they're not into um, certain gossipy topics or whatever. But they had a really good thing when they did that, and I definitely was looking forward to seeing a lot more of that from them because of their own individual experiences of what they express to the public, their own takes and stuff like that. I think it was a very valuable thing that they eventually that they created basically. Now, when they shifted back to boxing, it really kind of gotten uh, to me. It just seems like it lost something. I really started seeing, um, especially after that glue was introduced in the mix. It seemed like people was getting very sensitive when it comes to the comment section. There were people who had been supporting the platform for years and years, the names you've seen every day for years, getting disappearing, and it wasn't. And then you go to like that's on that channel on the when the Black Fight Fan channel turned to Trail Boxing Talk because I guess the YouTube algorithm or whatever they switched it up a little bit. Um, People start disappearing. They say, you see him on somebody else channel and say, hey, can you tell Black Fight Fan to unblock me or whatever? People was getting blocked like crazy. That was the regulars there supporting, financially supporting, and if they weren't financially supporting, they probably were sharing the video or whatever. But I even had another channel that was on there that got blocked, and people unfortunately they train, especially when be honest with you, when CC got there, that they was told to block people that's for something that was it seemed off color, but a lot of times it was out of context. When you don't take into consideration the context, sometimes you just look at it for what it is instead of asking the person what they mean, you just get blocked. I had a channel blocked for something, and I've never been a malicious person when it comes to this platform because these are black people who just is expressing their ideas. Now, back in the day, I would troll the shit out of these crackers on YouTube. I used to say all kind of crazy shit on YouTube, and that's the reason why my original channel got taken down because I was lighting these crackers up, and some of these other people who talk anti-black online. But anyway, I didn't bring that shit to this channel because I like the content and I supported it financially. Super chats all the time. um, all that stuff. I fell out with the show because of you know, another one of those things back in November 2022, right before Thanksgiving. Something got read out of context, and it just like I got to defend that. I'm not gonna walk on eggshells on the platform that I financially support for at that point for over 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even coming at nobody at all. You know, it's okay for them. It's like it's okay for the content creator to joke on the viewers who's paying them, but when the viewer who's paying them can't say, make a comment back, oh, it's offensive, and you getting blocked. And it wasn't even that malicious. It's like, god damn. You know what I'm saying? How can you expect for me not to be sensitive, but you sensitive? But it is what it is, though. Like, at that point, I was like, okay, this shit getting crazy. I've seen over the whole 2022 was a very cringy year compared to the previous years. I don't know what happened in 2022, but it was a very cringy year when it comes to the content. I know that glue, once you get that glue, everything can change. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it goes. But um, there's a lot of emotional shit going on. A lot of people kind of being condescending to the audience, specifically Black Fight fans. CC really brought that into the mix when it comes to condescending to the audience. Black Fight fan, he really did start to really and I can tell by what he said on that video that he just wasn't into it no more. And I think that bled out into the content because the way he was kind of talking was real kind of wild to the audience. And when you see that type of behavior on a show that you like, it turns you off, man. It is what it is. You can't have a respectful critique of the show or anything because people get in their feelings. But in hindsight, if you didn't like doing the show for whatever your own personal issues or if you had turmoil behind the scenes, then you know that showed through the product that you was producing. So it just kind of is what it is at this point. I read for all the years, the 4 years that I tuned in to this particular platform, I have to say I enjoyed it. It was very good information over the years. They have a catalog of good work. They have a good body of work, and I just hope that in the future, whatever Black Franchise decides to do, that he does it well. CC hope everything works out for her and her channel. 7 8 he's still doing his thing. But Black Fight fan, I just hope that advice that you gave to the boxers about black boxers, as long as you stay humble towards your people, you'll apply that to yourself in the future, man, and your viewership who ride for you, who rooting for you, that you can take respectful, constructive criticism, and that's a lot of time. That's what all of us was really trying to do, is trying to tell you like, dog, the content is getting kind of wild, man. It's going off in a direction that it's uncomfortable. And just within 3 months after I stopped watching the content, the shit falls flat, and I didn't want to see that. You know what I mean? I wanted y'all to continue on and do your thing, because now this shit feeds the haters to look at it like, ah ha ha, look at y'all. They probably doing this and that, and I don't like seeing that. Seeing good black people be subject to ridicule like that in the public. So I've done a good job of not allowing certain bullshit to come to the surface if there's ever any behind the scenes issues, but for it to be abruptly gone like that is it's crazy, man. But like I said, hope everything works out between y'all, and I hope everything just continue to grow for y'all, whatever y'all decide to do behind the scenes, and salute to you.